Duck out. Duck out. lasers, too. There they are.
Eggman's robots.
Leave them to me, Sonic.
Knock on,
bad.
Knuckles.